And as we get started, I always feel it's important I do two things. First off, thank you for your time today. I do truly appreciate it. It's a Monday morning. We got a full week ahead of us, and I'm going to keep this as short and as informative as I can. Second thing I always feel is important that I do, because I think it's been a year or two since I've had the opportunity to work with you all out at the elementary school, is just let you know how I ended up in front of you all today. I'm actually a former high school history teacher. I got my career started east of you all in Craven County at Havelock High School. While I was pursuing my master's degree of education, that brought me west of you all, where I taught in Wake County for several years. And that's also how I met my wife. We were both teachers together, and when we knew we were starting our family, both of us being in the classroom at that time, we were faced with some really hard sit-down conversations. And as I always like to say, since she was pregnant, she got 2 votes and I had 1. So she's still in the classroom today, and I was faced with a career change for the first time in my life. However, I realized something about myself that I think is true for all of us that work in education. We have an intrinsic motivation to want to help others, and I knew I needed to find that in my next career, but I still wanted to work with people I care passionately about, which is you all. And that's how I found Pierce Group. They handle your benefits for the school system. They've been doing that across the state from the mountains to the ocean for the past 90 years, helping individuals and families solve problems and provide solutions through these flexible benefits we're going to review today. And that's exactly what today is. It's a benefits briefing, kind of a highlight of everything offered to you by the school system. Comprehensive information will be found in your benefits booklet, which is now online. Your admin team should be sending out a link today with the link to the sign-up sheet. I'll be back on Monday, November 14th. If and when that day does get filled up, I can always add more time before the end of the enrollment. That being said, in that same email, there is a link to that benefits booklet as well. Now, one thing I always got to make sure we go over, I am your Johnston County benefits guy, not your state health plan guy, okay, folks? Please remember that. I'm on the state health plan. My family is. I know a great deal about it, but I cannot put you on the 80-20 or 70-30. I can't tell them you're not a tobacco user. You are all still responsible to do your state health plan before the end of that enrollment. I work with your Johnston County benefits. And for your Johnston County benefits, the annual enrollment window goes until November 18th. I will be on campus November 14th, can add an additional day as long as that first one gets filled. And then there's also the makeup day at central office on the 18th too. Now, any changes you make during your annual enrollment window are effective on January 1, and that also coincides with that 12-month period of 2023. Now, your benefits are always broken down into 2 basic categories. Your top category are your pre-tax benefits. The great thing about enrolling in pre-tax benefits is these come out of our paycheck before Uncle Sam takes his cut, which saves you approximately 30% on any benefit enrolled in. Now, that bottom category are your post-tax benefits. The reason why you want these benefits enrolled in with post-tax dollars is something like disability. If something ever occurred and I was unable to work, I got sick or I'm injured, that benefit I'm receiving does not count as income, and therefore next April I'm not with an unexpected tax burden. So very specific reasons why you want some benefits pre-tax, others post-tax. Now, easiest way to enroll, stop by, see me. Let's understand what's coming out of your paycheck. Take 15 minutes a year to know exactly what you have in place and how you're protecting you and your family members. That being said, you may choose to do it online as well. If you do that, though, if you're ever going to add money or have money taken out of your paycheck, I'd say make sure you stop by and see me to make sure that was done correctly, though. The first benefit we always review is your flexible spending account. This is that government-sponsored program where you set aside tax-free income, saving you approximately 30% for our out-of-pocket medical expenses. Now, those range from prescriptions, co-pays, your deductible, to eye care, dental work. It was expanded several years ago to include a lot of over-the-counter medications, feminine hygiene products, to first aid kits, and sunscreens. The accounts are customizable. You select the dollar amount at the beginning of the plan year. It is readily available to you. It is then just taken out equally by pay period throughout that plan year. Now, the annual maximum you are allowed to set aside is up to $2,850. Now, if you currently participate in the flexible spending account program, periodically check your balance. Make sure you get it below that $570 threshold, so any unused funds will roll over to the next plan year. However, please remember, you do need to actively re-enroll in this benefit every year. If you did $1,000 last year, it's not going to automatically do the same. That's an IRS guideline to re-enroll in this. Please make sure you see me. Let's get that taken care of so you have those funds ready for you and your family at the start of the plan year. Now, another type of flexible spending account is called the dependent care account. Works the same basic way as the healthcare. Tax-free money, saving you 30%, but it's typically for families with kids up to the age of 13 for things like before or after school care, summer day camps, daycare expenses. Why this is a significant benefit is you're allowed to set aside up to $5,000 of your family's household income to go towards these needs. When you write it off on your taxes, you're allowed to write off typically about half of that, which saving an additional 30% on that difference is like putting $700 to $800 right back in your family's budget by simply allocating your money a little bit more efficiently. Now, please remember, this benefit does not have a rollover provision. It is that strict use it or lose it rule, so please make sure you do plan accordingly, and this is a benefit you have to actively re-enroll in. Now, telemedicine is a great benefit. You can set up doctor's visits 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They can even write prescriptions to your local pharmacy, and they can even get a physician on the line in a virtual chat, much like this, in about 15 minutes. Why this is a great benefit for a lot of families is we're not having to take time off work to get our kids to the pediatrician if they're a little sick. We're not having to spend a $50 copay if it's an urgent care or a $300 copay to the ER either. This has saved a lot of families money as well as time because they can get medical attention at their convenience now. Now, dental has not changed. There's always 3 plans available. Regardless of which plan you elect, you always get 100% of your diagnostic preventive services covered. Then after those deductibles, all plans still cover your basic services at 90%. That's if you have a cavity or maybe a simple extraction. However, if you're an individual that's thinking about orthodontics for kids, or you're having major dental work in the future, strongly consider the high or the PPO plans that cover major services at 60%. Now, folks, the high and the PPO plans are almost identical. You get a price break on the PPO plan because it becomes your responsibility to make sure that you are going to a dentist in that PPO network. It can amount to a lot of savings, but please make sure you understand that if you do elect that plan this year or change to that plan. Now, vision hasn't changed either. Every year you get your annual eye exam, then you have your materials covered from your lenses, contacts to your frames. However, please always remember the year that you get frames is in lieu of that contact lens benefit. So make sure you plan accordingly. Maybe you shuffle a little extra money into your flex if you need to purchase both. Now, the only advice I ever give to anybody about dental or vision is if you're having probably almost $50 a pay period being taken out of your paycheck to have these benefits in place, we got to be doing the bare minimum of getting our teeth cleaned twice a year, our eyes checked once a year. If we are not doing that bare minimum, folks, simply put, we are having money taken out of our paycheck we're not using, and we work way too hard for what we earn to not take 15 minutes a year and understand where that's going to. Now, long-term disability, we've seen a large response for this over the past year or two because people are getting sick or things are happening and we're just struggling to get back to work, whether it be long COVID to other medical issues that we're experiencing. This benefit will kick in after 90 days out of work and cover you for 5 years. The base benefit of a $500 monthly benefit, just to try to think about some long-term financial security for your family, is less than $6 a month. So it becomes incredibly economical to make sure you insure that for you and your family's protection. Now, the rest of your benefits are through Colonial Life. And the reason why Pierce Group, as well as the school system, chooses to employ Colonial Life is simply put, they're the best at what they do in the nation today. And there's 3 main things that truly set them apart. These benefits do not coordinate. What that means is they pay regardless of anything else you might have in place. Let's say something happens on the job and you're receiving workman's comp, your disability stacks right on top of it. You don't have to exhaust sick days. You don't have to worry about your disability being reduced because you're receiving something else. And should you ever have to make a claim, they arrive at your doorstep. They don't go to central office. They don't talk to Blue Cross Blue Shield. They arrive at your doorstep when you need them most. And probably the most important, the benefits are portable. That's significant. I dealt with a woman last May. She was retiring in June, and she goes, Andrew, my history of cancer, My family's medical concerns about heart issues don't magically go away because I stopped working. She was allowed to enter that next phase of life with confidence, knowing that she could take her benefits from a payroll deduction, move them to a bank draft, and keep them for as long as her and her family deemed necessary. Now, the first benefit we always review is your cancer benefit. And sad to say, whether this is my first year or my 10th year working with you all, I think we can all admit, unfortunately, all of us have been affected by cancer, whether it's been a friend, a coworker, a family member, and we all understand the cost of a cancer diagnosis is just so much more than just medical expenses. This benefit is built to be that financial safety net that when a diagnosis occurs to you, your spouse, a child, it allows you to focus on the most important thing, which is making sure your loved ones get the treatment they deserve, not ever feeling like you're settling for treatment. Now, the only thing I ever want our family to ever use our cancer benefit for is that top little circle you see right there with a heart with $100 in it. That's if you go to your annual, typically free under health plans. Get your Pap, mammogram, blood work, cholesterol, PSA done. There's 24 different exams to choose from. Do one a year, file it over the phone or online, receive your $100 return of premium. If your spouse or another family member goes that you cover, file it again as it pays for each individual covered. And if you have the critical illness or the medical bridge that also has those wellnesses built in, file it once. It pays them all. You don't have to file multiple times or get different tests done to receive those benefits. The reason why it's built into these benefits is because Colonial Life puts a large emphasis on preventative care. Take care of minor things before they ever manifest into larger issues. Now, if there ever was a diagnosis to you or a loved one, I hope you have your $5,000 or $10,000 benefit for your initial diagnosis built on that pays at the most devastating time for you and your family to just make decisions before you even make any claims for any medical care. Then based on your treatment package, it is covered whether you have radiation and chemotherapy, medical imaging studies, experimental treatment to surgical procedures. If they ever recommend that one of our kids go to the Dana-Farber Clinic up in Boston, I don't know about you, but we will figure it out. There is a transportation and lodging benefit built in, not just for the individual diagnosed, but also for a loved one to travel with them and give them the support they need while they undergo that treatment. Then, if your extended care benefits are also included, like hospice, and I absolutely hope those are never needed. Unfortunately, what I have learned during my time as a benefits counselor traveling across the state, this is one benefit that truly just does not discriminate, and it doesn't even sometimes matter on our age anymore either from what we've seen. But this benefit being pre-tax with that wellness benefit built in, simply put, it becomes beyond economical this day and age and is a benefit our family will never go without, and simply one I recommend for all families to cover. That being said, the opposite side of that is our critical illness benefit, or our heart plan. Covers catastrophic specified events, heart attack, stroke, renal failure, organ failure, coma, paralysis, blindness, sudden cardiac arrest, hospitalizations due to infectious diseases, as well as progressive diseases are covered. It provides a lump sum benefit of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in the event of something catastrophic ever occurs. Your discretion how it's used, from family support, in-home care, lifestyle adjustments. A year later, a second event happens, or a year after that, a third event. The benefit will pay multiple times, and if something ever occurs and we can't pull through, that benefit will be immediately passed along to my family during their time of need as well. Now, your disability. Big events this year with disability, folks, all right? If you stop paying attention to me, you're doing stuff to get ready for Monday, I don't blame you, but please pay attention to this right now, okay, folks? Your disability benefit has been updated. The last one was introduced in 2004, and it had just become outdated based on the world we live in today. We always know it covered us 24/7 on and off the job for physical related things. Car accidents, broken bones, that we can't work, to COVID. However, the big thing about this benefit, we've learned the reason why some folks can't work isn't necessarily always physical. Under the new benefit, mental health is now covered as a sickness. If you're unable to work due to anxiety, depression, stress headaches, that income will now be covered. Now, a lot of folks have used this benefit for family planning and maternity leaves, but sometimes that plan just doesn't always work out for some of us, and we choose to go the adoption route. that is now covered as well. If you choose and legalize an adoption, there is a goodwill benefit included now so that you may take the time off to bond with that new family member as well. If you do not update your benefit, those new enhancements are not covered. Please make sure you are aware of that. Make sure you see me. Let's get your benefit updated to make sure that you and your financial protection is in place moving forward. Now, people ask me every day in general about disability. Is this something I should have in place? I think I got work days, sick days, annual leave days. The advice I give to all of you is what my mentors gave to me while I was in the classroom. If your paycheck plays an active role in your family's budget, or maybe you're that individual where your paycheck is your budget, you need to have some form of base disability in place to prevent you from going into debt, raiding savings, losing things we've worked incredibly hard for. Now, if the disability is there for you and your financial well-being, the accident benefits for your loved ones. If you have kids that are athletes, they're teen drivers, they're like my hyenas that are a tad accident prone, or you have a spouse that acts like a child, awesome benefit. Covers them 24/7 on and off the job, whether it be sports-related injuries, broken bones, concussions, lacerations, hunting or fishing accidents, to follow-up care as well. Now, the medical bridge. This is your supplement to the state health plan. And the big thing about it, as we're reviewing our health plans, I think we can all admit, unfortunately, they're not as strong as they used to be. And that a supplement is almost a needed benefit in this day and age to protect our families from those ever increasing costs of medical bills. How this benefit works is it pays a lump sum benefit if you're ever hospitalized over 20 hours to hopefully eat up your deductible, some co-insurance, which then will build at $100 a day for a general confinement option, as well as a $500 a day ICU option as well. Diagnostic work is covered from biopsies, CAT scans, MRIs to cardiac needs as well as outpatient surgeries from simple things like tonsils being taken out to more invasive things like hysterectomies, cataracts to knee or shoulder surgeries. Now, where my wife fell in love with the benefit is the medical treatment package. It covers us if we ever need an ambulance or emergency room, but anytime we see a doctor throughout the year, up to 5 times as a family, pediatrician, specialist, mental health, primary care, does not matter, pays us $25 each time we go just to help take care of our copays, take care of minor things. Hopefully they never manifest into larger issues. And that's what I like about the medical bridge as a benefit. I've got a cancer plan for our family, and I absolutely hope it only ever collects dust. What I like about this one is it's based on our age, so you lock your rate in, take it with you when you retire, and it's a benefit we're all going to actively use. And fact of the matter is as we get older, we only spend more time with those folks in white lab coats, so we're only going to use it more. Now, over the past several years, we've learned about the fragility of life and, simply put, the responsibility we have to our loved ones. We got to talk about life insurance. There's 2 types offered. There's whole and there's term. I like to call them whens and ifs. When I'm not there, hopefully not about 95, but I cannot afford to burden my family with final expenses. I just don't want to be the last thing I leave them. That's whole life. Whole life is permanent. It builds cash value. It's a guaranteed level premium. It's never going to change on you. You may put it on your spouse, children, as well as your grandchildren to lock in their rates as well. Now, when I became a dad several years ago, I stopped thinking about the whens. As a parent, I had a responsibility to take care of the ifs. If I'm not there next week, what does my wife need to raise the people I care most about? That's term life, meant to be an astronomical benefit, help cover future housing needs, family's current standard of living, future education. It's the most economical because it serves a period of need, 10 to 30 years. I've got a 30-year term in place, and if I've learned anything over the last several years, quarantining with 3 kids, I hope I pay it every month and I eventually see them grow up and move out of this house. But over that period of time, if any of us have learned anything, is the responsibility we have to our loved ones to make sure we have our life insurance needs taken care of. Now, I tried to keep this as short and as informative as I could. Make sure if you have current policies in place, file your wellness, file your doctor's visits by the phone or online. All you need is doctor's phone number, dates you went, test you had done, set up direct deposit. We'll pay you within 48 hours as well. Now, you always have your policyholder portal available to you. File your claims right there. Check on their status, change beneficiaries, review your benefits. Now, the one thing my wife always asks me to bring up is if you are a young woman that is currently family planning, or you might know somebody that is that's not in this session, Make sure they see me to discuss the maternity benefits because it always has to be in place before we get to that step. And it's what allowed my wife the time off necessary to bond with our newborns and enter back into the school year at her own pace. I tried to keep this as short and as informative as I could. Thank you so much for your time today. I do truly appreciate it. I look forward to working with you all on the 14th. Please remember also, if you are a new employee, you need to make sure you see me one way or another. That way we go over any initial questions you might have and capture just a sign or decline for your benefits so the school system has a record for that. Thank you so much for everything. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all on the 14th. Thank you so much.